Alright, hello everyone. Hope you all are well. Alright. Time for some Twilight RP stuff. Hello Affinity, hello Tree, hello Paul. I'm gonna get this going. Sarai needs to talk to Q. And then we'll swap to Zariel after. Huh. Interesting. Alright. Like a mix of the Aisha scope and Omega. Well, I guess that works. Hello, Q.
Sarai.
Good seeing you again.
Darling.
It's been a bit.
Likewise. I hope everything has been well on your end.
Not entirely.
One can hope.
I do have news I need to share with you, so...
If you don't mind me staying a little bit on topic, like, for a moment, and,
by all means.
we'll talk if you wish.
By all means, sir.
I was just pointing out that basically, Sky went on a little adventure and found out some interesting information based on a few things. Like, apparently, somewhere out there is the Twilight realm and the juxtaposed realm frozen in time right before they unwrote each other.
That makes sense.
That sounds a little complicated.
Oh, trust me, it gets even more interesting considering the fact that, according to what was said, things are happening out of order because of that. In other words, things that in linear time would have happened in the past are technically happening in the present.
So basically, time is getting all mixed up.
The story is falling apart, effectively. It's fraying, and parts of the story are positioning itself in other parts, which is causing... It's causing my memories to not be the truth. But also the truth. To put it simply.
Yeah, that's definitely
Effectively-
complicated.
Wonderful. That sounds yikes.
Yes, I'm... Basically, this was a gift from my dream self, which is the most complete version of my mind. And it has given me some insight to a few things.
Sorry, I'm not the only one that took the long way.
Ah, Cora.
Well,
Cora. To be fair, it's
Yippee
not
for
a very
usefulness.
obvious elevator.
I struck out on path and I took it, and I was like, well, let's see where this goes.
yes.
Well, your name is Traveler, so...
Fair, fair.
One delivery from Miss Q.
Ah,
I'm sensing shadow.
A box full of camellia scales, as you requested.
Wonderful.
There she is.
In there. Ah, hello.
Hi, me too.
There's pizza.
Ah, hello there, Mitsu. What a gathering of people we have today.
Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, I see you went to another pizza place.
Oh, pizza. I was just like, what?
Yes. What Sky just mentioned to me over the crystal is correct. Effectively, think of how the fourth dimension works. Based on
Oh.
multiversal theory, the fourth dimension, past, present, and future are all happening at the same time. And because the anchors to those points in time got kind of fucked with, everything is starting to turn into an etch-a-sketch. Probably not helped at all by the current happenings with Heaven's Reach problem. So,
I'd imagine that's making things significantly worse.
Timeline things are always interesting and always exceedingly complicated.
yes. But the good news is that with the gift that she has given me here, I can start trying to make sense of it all and put it all together for all of those who are my friends and allies.
Fair enough.
So that way I can provide that information. The object that you all passed by is effectively what I would refer to as the fruit of knowledge. It is a nexus of information that can be accessed.
Hmm.
Useful.
Yeah, furry.
I don't know why I thought it was an actual fruit.
Could be if you really wanted it to, I'd imagine.
No, metaphor.
Just imagine it as a fruit.
I know
here
there's some
is-
entities out there that could eat it.
The representation of the Twilight Soul and the Twilight Blade on either side of my personal nexus. Which means that I actually have access to a Nexus of Souls again. A proper one.
What about the giant floating tablet with whatever's written on it that's pulsing?
That's something I'm working on decoding. The language on it, at first glance, seems to be in a traditional Nordic runic font. However, when you start to decode it, it shifts text to a different language. and it's random at times what language it shifts to. And comprehend languages doesn't work on it.
Was it something left behind by your dream self? Or something else?
That's the thing. Everything here is a one-to-one recreation
Mitsu,
of the dream
I'm fine.
self.
Okay. Well, that means either your dream
Mitsu
self left
found
it
out
here,
about
or it was
pizza.
something that was given to your
You're
dream
welcome.
self.
I did this.
Huh.
That over there is a tree of creation.
Yeah, I can tell with the pulsing veins.
It's effectively a fledgling Yggdrasil.
Fascinating.
There's a strange runic cube that also is something that I'm not quite familiar with. There's a doorway over there that I cannot open, nor can I sense anything on the other side of it.
Any door that doesn't connect to a wall now scares me.
As it should.
Well, if it doesn't connect to anything, maybe it relates to something in the Great Dream that doesn't apply here.
Probably not. Oh no, don't do this. No. No.
I mean, you only have yourself to blame for this if you're the one who started her on this one.
I didn't. Okay, I got her on Domino's pepperoni.
Too many
I didn't do this. She did this her own self.
Hey, they wanted all toppings. They just got a
Actually-
supreme pizza.
If I remember correctly, it was Annabelle who took her to get a meat lovers.
Probably. I wouldn't put it past it.
Mm.
Oh god.
Yeah, extra toppings, yes.
You can add like everything.
Too many. It's too many. I don't have any problems with the toppings themselves. It's just too many toppings.
Man, it's fine.
I mean, there's a thing called dessert pizza. That's too much sugar.
Don't tell me.
And the entrance is a interesting.
Yes, yes, you can unlock ultimate potential.
It's like a evolved version of the Twilight Mirror.
You can get along
Yeah,
with
that's
this.
swing vibes coming through.
It has eyes on it of each of the three elements of my people.
Yes, it
so-
does. They follow you.
Yeah, trust me, feeling
So
that vibe
there-
and feeling the dream vibe, I had a minor heart
They're
attack.
fun.
Fair enough. No, this
I
is
assume if you fall,
basically
you
the.
die.
I guess you could say this is the awake version of my dream realm, and they are interconnected through that concept. So technically, we are inside of my dream while not being completely inside of it.
We're skimming the surface.
Fun.
Yes.
Just visiting.
And nothing that you really need to trouble yourselves with the details on.
Me too. I'm all about jumping off perfectly good cliffs, but this is
jump.
straight into a black hole.
No. Bad idea. Bad idea. No. No jumping. No.
Technically, since this is still technically a dream realm, you'd probably just reappear at the gateway without being harmed.
Alrighty, I'm letting the
Think
intrusive
of it
thoughts
like-
win then. Give me a
like-
second.
I don't want to test it.
Oh
yeah,
my
that
god.
when you're following.
Well then.
Me too.
I mean,
me too.
Monkey see, monkey
don't
see.
hit the platform.
We're just
The platform.
Can't you hit the platform? What the fuck?
So there's platforms down there. You want to know what they remind me of? Rachel, you'll be familiar with these. Do these not remind you of the platforms that the sages stood on?
Can we not? I don't. Thanks.
1, 2, 3. Sure.
standing on.
Yeah, that's 7.
You know what this place really reminds me of, Q?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a cross between the Deltascape and the Aisha-scope.
Yeah.
Have fun.
I don't know what any of those
Yeah.
words mean, but they sound.
They're
really
locations in
For a
Atheros.
while. I don't know why.
You're intrusive.
One of which you
One
can't
was
get
a
into anymore.
digital One was a. One is like your the place on your airship, darling.
I didn't count.
Yeah.
Deltascape.
Oh.
That was very reminiscent of the Deltascape. I don't know who gave you that, like, details,
Dreams.
but yeah.
Probably Kane.
Wasn't it Maxine?
Either Maxine, Kane, or Skills, I would say.
I mean, you also have the
Okay,
Forgotten
okay,
Knight
that
of
also
Ishgard
explains
inside of
things.
your bar design. So there's that.
Imagine taking an entire room out of Ishgard and putting onto your airship.
I'm impressed they did that, to be honest. I'm not gonna complain, though.
Costs
Personally, you
us
should have just put The Last Stand in there. That would have been better.
I'd actually like to
I'm
take
biased,
a
though.
look at the real
Yeah.
version of the tablet. Because if it's shifting languages
Yeah, if you
like
keep
that,
your hair
and you
nice,
can't
then
use
I don't
magic,
recommend jumping, yeah.
then there's no reason we couldn't use technology to have multiple languages pulled up at once and just spread it out and make it easier.
Fair enough.
I'm fine. Mitsu, we're not even. We're technically asleep right now, aren't we?
No.
I feel like she's getting rather obsessive.
Don't you still like
If
food
I
in your
were to
tails,
sleep,
Just
Katsuya?
eat one bite.
Be able to
I
do
think
some really
it'll
weird
stop
shit.
it.
And I don't
Hungry.
feel like I do that weird
I
shit
do
right
have
now.
tail,
So
like
I'm
food
going
in
to
my
do it through
tails,
my
but those are
mouth.
snacks.
No.
Speaking of snacks, you have any fish
By our
apples?
technical definition, no one here is asleep. We are in a
Okay.
dreamscape, but not asleep. It's made
I'll
of
think about
dream. It's made of dream energy, but it's also a physical location. If you've ever been to a place called the Dream Tree, exact same concept. This one just happens to be intrinsically tied to my true self.
Oh, I see.
I'm not hungry. It just happens to be weird.
Just entertain her. Just entertain her. Put it in your tails, and then she'll shut up.
They do, yeah. I think they'd be
This is how in the world you handle children. That's all you do. You hand them something, and then. Hello, Vincent.
Ah.
That being said, feel free to look around a bit while Sarai informs me about things.
Oh boy.
Time to go to
In terms
have fun.
of what happened recently, Sarai, if I'm correct?
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Go
Anywhere you can
except-
physically walk to.
Cannot
That
go
doesn't mean the
Don't go.
platform to me too.
The elevator is barriered. And even if you got
What if I
past
climb the
barrier like
outside?
Kansio did,
Then I'll punch you down. No.
I mean, if you really want to climb out that entire thing all the way up there, go for it.
I have the upper strength.
Here, I'll give you a head start. Fling you.
Wait, no. Please.
No.
No, there is absolutely no.
Fair enough.
I was gonna say it's a dreamscape, so anything can be reality, but I don't know. Don't break your brain.
If you require food, stand near the tree and think of it. It will appear.
Mom, I I feel like that we're gonna have a whole bunch of just food on the floor over there.
Mainly takoyaki, probably.
And pizza.
Pizza with every single topping in existence.
I mean, it despawns after a bit, I guess.
Does it? I mean.
I mean, if this is technically a dream, Q could just blink it out of existence.
Could be whatever, really.
Okay.
Oh, question, Q. Would it be wrong to try to pry that door open?
You can definitely try.
You can try, but it won't work. I can tell you that much. I've already tried myself. I can't open it. If I can't open it, I highly doubt anyone else can.
Did you try the passphrase "open caraway"?
Speak
Open
friend,
caraway?
Yeah.
No, I haven't
I have the power of
explicitly
the
tried
sapphire
saying.
star on my side.
Anyways. Our wonderful friend is starting to make moves again.
I was afraid that was why you were saying things weren't so good.
And I am still a little miffed about it. I've found out about this secondhand. For Aki and I's sake, we weren't informed. Not until after the fact that it happened. Why? I don't know. But I'm miffed about it. To the point of I actually slapped the hell out of Ryder. He deserved it, to be fair.
Yeah.
Anyways.
You're right, it won't open.
I know.
Come a few days ago, I get told that, well, I get a message from Aki saying that someone has been doing things. And that a Sasano was around and a group of individuals fought and destroyed said Susano. Korra being one of them. What it comes to find out that I would learn is that there was a white and gold Susano. What color scheme does that remind you of right off the bat? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And apparently, it was definitely not acting like normal Susano. Normal Susano has a very interesting and unique personality to him. This version was definitely not that, from what I got told. Instead of enjoying the glory of battle, it was much more mechanical and on the murdering side of things.
Makes sense, considering the fact that most primals are based on whoever summons them and their mindset at the time.
Correct, except this one wasn't a summoned primal.
What?
This was a construct. Yeah. Believe me, I'm still trying to wrap my head around it too. But it's a construct. It's not an actual primal.
That sounds like what the Ultima weapon was effectively, but it still required the soul of a primal in order to function.
Not necessarily. The Ultima weapon could function on its own without a primal. It got stronger, and it could absorb the powers of primals. That's how we dealt with it in a sense. But that was how we dealt with it back in the Praetorium. We managed to strip it of its primal essences that it absorbed. Therefore, but it was still active. Just not at quote-unquote full capacity, as it were. Regardless of the matter, this Susano, from what I have been told, was a lot stronger than what they anticipated. And it also apparently summoned lesser Susanos. Except these, again, were not primals. These were constructs, but it is believed that these constructs are mutated individuals to look and act like Susano. If that makes sense at all.
Wait, you mean like...
Experimentation.
You need to keep
like
saying
in
that,
Pandemonium?
Yes, I heard. Go ahead, sorry, Q.
Like in Pandemonium.
Exactly. Athena's MO has always been to create a true soul. That is her definition of achieving godhood. What a god should be. To create a soul from nothing. She tried 12,000 years ago.
Man, it's really good she doesn't know that's what I do. Otherwise she'd probably be banging on my door to figure it out.
Well, as a reminder, she attempted to try and do so 12,000 years ago. She was then killed by her husband La Habrea. Not before, though, she had set in motion plans that would take place after her death. One being the release of La Habrea's other half, to which then threw pandemonium into chaos until we came in and restored it, personally. Then, 12,000 years later, pandemonium was recreated in the ethereal sea. Athena was reborn in the body of her son's descendant, Erichthonios, then now in the current day as Claudian, took over his body and attempted to continue her plans of basically creating another soul. We stopped her. That should have been the end of it. Should have been.
Yes, I remember.
Yes. Somewhere down the line, and this is my running theory right now, and it does have some weight to it. There are two facts to why I believe this theory is sound. When we fought her again, when she took us before rending that rift in reality, the form she took was different than what she had before. The form she took before had 3 pairs of butterfly wings. This form, in particular, only had 2. The 3rd pair was like that of angelic wings. Only one creature I know of that had very similar wings. And the reason I go to that creature is because of one of the abilities she used during that fight. It was a cascading beam that came out. It was an attack that was very similar to a creature known as Rala.
Was it golden?
Yes.
That's what I felt.
Sorry.
And this is why...
I'm gonna be heading out.
Very well then.
Take
Be
care.
Gotta
safe,
mentally
Laura.
prepare for tomorrow's meeting.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Why don't you try and
It's-
parkour it? Why don't you just climb?
Heaven's Reach is currently in the middle
That's
of a situation. I don't know if Aki has informed you of it just yet.
She did. That's why I'm not going
Okay.
there.
That's what they're referring to.
Got it. Okay.
Just climb, idiot. No.
I know none of my sisters are gonna be happy with me going there, but I still want to see what plan they have.
Were you called?
As it stands, we need to do something about it, because if it's one thing that I'm not going to let, it's Riza's legacy be destroyed because of one rash action.
I'm sure she wouldn't want that
None
too.
of us are gonna let that happen.
I understand that she wanted it to be a paradise and a safe haven for people.
It definitely felt
I
like that when
understand
I was
also why
there.
people are avoiding it.
Now then. The running theory that I have right now in terms of Athena and her new form and abilities is that she somehow in the ethereal sea combined with the soul of Rala. Which I'm not entirely sure how the soul of Rala got to the ethereal sea, but it probably has something to do when we took down the Endsinger.
So, I can tell you the answer to at least that. If what I remember from my excursion in Atheris, it is mentioned that there is a greater flow. Not just the one that surrounds Atheris alone, but one that encompasses the entire cosmos.
You think that they got pulled into that? But that doesn't make sense, given the fact that Athena's soul was placed in the ethereal sea on Atheris, and Rala's technically should have been sent to the greater flow than outside within the vast expanse. How did the two then get together?
So, my theory at that point would be that Athena attempted to use her abilities as an ancient to resurface.
It's okay, me too.
Unfortunately, because of the sundering, she couldn't truly fully do that. Not to mention the increased damage dealt to her by the events of Pandemonium. To that end, she most likely was still able to traverse to a different sea. If the greater flow is still connected to Atheris' flow, there would still be a bridge between the two. It's also a point to note that souls within the flow don't exactly have much choice where they end up.
Fair. How that still, regardless of how that
pure
happened.
coincidence.
How it happened, we're probably never going to know. But regardless of the matter, I do believe that at some point she did in fact encounter the soul of Rala, and the two of them combined. Hence her new form and her new abilities. That being said,
I would agree with your theory, given the fact that when I first encountered this Athena, it felt like her, but not. So that's why I was confused and wasn't immediately alarmed by her presence. This explains why.
yeah.
There has to be another soul tied within her. And if your observations hold any merit, I don't know why I worded it that way. That sounded a little condescending. I didn't mean that rudely.
Oh, you're
But
fine.
if your observations are correct, that's a better way to put it, then the likelihood of them touching such a being would make sense. It makes sense too because, if I remember the story correctly, Rala never was truly dispatched until the Endsinger gave reason for the Warrior of Light to traverse to that world.
To be fair, to remember specifically, the dead ends were a recreation of those worlds. Which means that at some point, the soul of Rala was pulled into their nest, and then recreated. Which is what we fought. So when the Endsinger was defeated, those souls got released. All of the souls that she took in.
In your timeline, well, not your specifically, but in Ryder's timeline, the Endsinger wasn't defeated like it was in the Sacred One.
No. Well, the Endsinger was defeated. I brought her back.
Well,
But
In a way.
the point remains that it wasn't traditional, which
No.
means that those souls could have been distributed back to Atheris through your connection with the source.
Could be. It's possible. But we won't know for sure.
Like I said, it could also be completely coincidental.
Mm-hmm. In that matter, she has been silent for the past several months, ever since she came over onto this side and started trying to do things, specifically down in Orlando Sanka and a few other locations that I got told of, Dragonspire being one of them, I think, at one point. Then silence. Nothing. And there was no information. All we heard after that was this individual, this other Luluma, running around. And this one was one where I had my suspicions straight from the start. Yes, it is one thing that there can be other reflections and other versions of individuals. Cinnabelle and Ava, for example, were technically part of that. How that happened, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm not really going to question how that happened. So it didn't necessarily seem too far-fetched that there was another Luluma, except there was some glaring issues given a conversation or two that had happened that I got informed of. She was talking about events as if they weren't there. Events and details that were out of place. Details and events that the real Luluma actually knew of and was very well informed of. We believed at that point that the Luluma there was either a construct or something of that matter. We just didn't know to what extent. Then come just recently. Ryder Kane of this realm's variant, along with Korra, you apparently, and several others. I think Saya was there as well. Yes, Saya was there as well. Went and fought this white and gold Susano. We had heard that there was a Susano running around some time ago, but we never had details as to what they were doing. And then that happened. And apparently, there was a messenger from Athena who showed up after they defeated Susano, saying that this was a testing ground. And that, I guess, more was to come. She also spoke to another person from a different Atheris, young man named Frederick, who apparently has a primal version of Nidhogg bound to his body, which is very fascinating, I will say.
I am not talking out loud.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh. Mom, please.
Sorry, I was talking in my head. Yes, Mitsu darling, what is it?
I think she's
Not
trying to comfort you
sounding
because you look
exasperated.
like you were annoyed or upset.
Hopeless is different, but no, what just came across my mind is the
I mean,
fact
if you're gonna
that
bring
she's
Elegy in, by all
continuing-
means, but I
wouldn't
don't
say
want you
that
to break
she's
your
doing
voice
the same
here.
thing. She's continuing
Rest your voice,
the
hon.
experiment that she was already running in Praetorum?
Pandemonium. Yes, which is what we believe.
Effectively, she's probably testing more souls because she found out Ryder's soul was as
Mhm.
strong as it was, and it came from this universe.
Yes.
And so there's possibly more capable individuals that she could probably study, draw on information from to try and achieve her ultimate goal.
Indeed. And your assumption in theory is very much similar to mine. She is pursuing her research once again. And apparently, this other Luluma gets very fascinated if you talk anything related to soul research. Obsessively so, from what Kane told me. Now that doesn't sound suspicious, right?
Totally not suspicious at
Mm-hmm.
all.
So, this messenger also commented that Frederick was a prototype. Whatever the hell's that means. And even he is curious as to what that meant. But the running...
That does make me think of all kinds of things.
From what Frederick and Kane are saying, they believe that this is somehow also tied to Nightmare, some kind of bipedal version of the Ultima weapon. I don't know. That being said, I did fight some kind of hologram version of a weird-looking Ultima weapon over in Arcala City in Skittles' bar. I don't know if that's the same thing, but... Apparently, though...
Did you ever encounter the weapons that were piloted by guys as children?
Yes. Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Diamond. Yes. I helped face those.
Were they like those?
No.
Hmm.
This was very different. This was a very unique design. Yes, and Frederick believes that somehow this is tied to this nightmare creature that I guess from what I got told they had sealed away some time ago. But now things are somehow set in motion that, from what I'm being told, variants of different primals that we know of, or like I know of, are like being created. Like genuinely created and not summoned.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. It is very confusing.
The idea...
It dawns on me that now that she's in this place, in the Shattered Realms, she would have connections to all the other varying threads and versions of Atheris and its storyline.
As if she's smart enough to understand how to get back to those. It's possible she could.
Even though she might not be able to traverse there, it's more about the fact that there are individuals from those locations that are in this world. Individuals she could most likely sense are from a version of Atheris and most likely want to experiment on them.
Probably. And it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case, that she's not trying to do that to regular individuals already. We know that she, for somehow or another, she's quote-unquote tempering individuals. More likely through the use of whatever mind manipulation that she utilized on my wife.
That? Because of what you suggested earlier, that holds credence to Rala. Because Rala was effectively a primal created
No,
by
not a
their
primal.
people.
Not a primal. Not necessarily born of faith. Rala was created as a
It was still
release of a burden.
created.
Yes, we don't know. I don't know how the Nibiruns created it. I don't know how they created her. Regardless of the matter, she was created to deliver them from eternity, because they couldn't
Yes,
stand
but
living in that paradise.
I would just be under the belief that Rala would be I'm not necessarily calling them identical. I'm suggesting that there is a good chance that, considering the fact that these locations, these worlds, wouldn't have the same sort of ethereal density that Atheris has, the existence of Dynamis would most likely be higher. So there is a good chance it could have been created from veneration, but not in the same sense that ether does.
Maybe.
Could have been a Dynamis primal for all we know. But the fact of the matter is that the one thing that I do remember from that story is that it granted a blessing to them. It put them to sleep. Which would imply mind manipulation.
I don't know. A lot of that still doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, unfortunately, unless you had the ability to speak with the Endsinger, then...
I technically could, but I doubt she wants to remember those memories.
Are you talking about Elegy?
Yes.
Yes, no, I don't think she would quite want to recall those, but...
No, and I don't want to put that on her. She has her own story to tell.
Indeed. That being said, I certainly hope that Miss Elegy's doing okay. I haven't seen her in a bit.
I think she is. Haven't seen her in a while either. But I'm sure she'll show up at
Out
some
asking
point.
her questions.
To get back to the topic of the nightmare side of things, apparently it gets a little bit more worse. So I don't know the full details of this nightmare entity, but I guess at some point Frederick went out to and found some various testing facilities either ran by Nightmare or his associates, and found some very concerning things. Primarily the fact that they were... Did you ever partake in the story of Bahamut? And how his body was being
version?
restored by the elegant technology underneath in the coils.
Yes, I...
Okay. Okay. So, Frederick found a few testing locations by tracking down some primal-based energy. I'm not entirely sure how he's able to do that, but apparently he can. And what he found was testing and creation chambers for creating what seemed to be primals, as in building them. One of them was Nidhogg, the other was Bahamut, and I think one of them was attempting to try and create Hraesvelgr.
Harissa, what?
Man, that's a nice ledge.
Nidhogg's brother.
I
Yep.
mean, go for it.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh, technically all of them were brothers.
Yeah,
Frederick believes that at some level, somehow they're trying to create a story that, or an entity that was only told in story by the Wandering Minstrel. Something that the Wandering Minstrel coined the God King Thordan. I've heard of that story, and it basically was King Thordan harnessed the powers of both Nidhogg and Hraesvelgr and became... oh boy, something we don't ever want to see.
Oh my god.
They're effectively trying to make some sort of Armageddon entity.
The Knights of the Round.
Yeah, the Knights of the Round, kind of. Yeah, something like that.
Only, not just the Knights of the Round, but one that was only told of in story.
Mm-hmm. It's a what if story. It's not. There's no. There. It's never. It's not
in
true.
The dragons, it's a story that was sung about in something known as the Dragon Song Revelry.
The Wandering
Reprise? I can't remember.
Reprise. It's basic.
But
Think the best way.
effectively, this entity was the closest thing to probably one of the gods of that realm.
Yeah.
Huh.
Basically, the minstrel stories are very much what ifs. And sometimes they get very vivid that you could actually relive them to a point. But they're not true. They're just very, very elaborate what ifs. And this particular what if was, what if King Thoradin, and by extension, you had protected an old friend of yours, what would happen if you had changed that particular moment? It then culminated in the fact that King Thoradin, instead of being killed upon Az's Law, managed to find a way to harness the power of two of the great worms, Hreisvelgr and Nidhogg, and became what would be called
now-
as God King Thoradin.
And now there are attempts to basically shift everything and turn these what ifs into reality.
That's what it sounds
At
like,
least
and I don't like
apparently,
it.
yeah,
Well-
apparently this person is finding evidence that someone is attempting to do that.
I think it was more so that Nightmare was attempting to do it before Nightmare was stopped.
So this nightmare,
I wish I had more information on that. I really don't. This would be something you would have to talk to Frederick about.
do you wouldn't happen to have any visuals of the individual, would you? Like any descriptors?
Short blue hair, heterochromia, has blue scarring on his face, one underneath one eye and then like one on his forehead. Dark blue armor, uses a multitude of different weapons, and has basically the primal soul of Nidhogg bound to his body. And he's he said like his ship captain or whatever, I think his name was Elban or something like that.
What?
Yeah.
Gonna take it that name has significance.
I think
You've
you
ever
showed
been
me.
inside of
Didn't
the
you show me
memorial
the
chamber at Dragonspire?
him? Yes, because you showed
Elbon
me.
was one of the people who had died. Yes.
You showed me
and
that a
he's
long time ago.
surrounded by Elpis flowers.
Yeah.
It has actually
yeah.
been a while since I've been to the Dragonspire Memorial, so I don't specifically recall, but if that's the case, okay.
Also, what
interesting.
did you do with those seeds I gave you, the Elpis flower seeds? Now that I have that on my for whatever reason that just popped into my head, what did you ever do with those?
Twilight Sanctuary.
Got it. Okay.
They're
I
growing.
figured you had I figured you found a use for them.
I was sort of going to place them in specific areas that I felt would help calm people. And plus, I had a feeling that a couple of individuals among my shard bearers would quite appreciate their appearance, even if they didn't quite know the significance of their story.
I'm sure. But yeah, that's for the most part all of that information is what I have. My recommendation at that point, talk to Frederick. He knows way more about this than I do. And also, now
I
we have
do
bigger
believe
concerns. We have other concerns.
Frederick come to Heaven's Reach?
He's
I
been
can't
there a few
remember.
times. I know he has.
Okay, good. Unfortunately,
Yeah. There's now also the
too many people come and go sometimes.
There's now also the
Not
running
sure it'd be
theory
wise
that the
to bring
Lulima
Frederick
of
to
this
Heaven's Reach in the immediate,
realm is also a construct or a tempered individual. Kane, and one
Does
of his
anyone
friends.
happen to have Alice's notes
Well, here's-
on reducing that?
Well, here's the thing. We don't know to what extent or how bad it is
What
because,
kind?
yeah,
I don't know.
here's the problem, right? Ryder being Ryder is basically very close to this individual in the same manner as he got close with Minerva back on the Theris, and then basically spilled the secrets of basically his entire thing, plus all of us, to Athena.
Oh yes, this guy sounds like the most trustworthy person ever.
And I consider him a good friend.
He is a hero to a fault.
He really is, and I consider him a good friend, but he's so frustrating.
It just clicked in my memory that we're talking about this
he's
writer.
a good.
Yeah,
he's,
that
he's
writer.
a good person deep down, but
I've
he's
met
a
him.
hero, so he makes stupid choices.
He is too trusting to a fault. That is literally him.
I'm guessing any goodwill towards him means, oh, you're trustworthy.
Exactly, yes.
God damn it.
Yes,
I
so
wonder if that's bit anyone in the ass.
it bit us in the ass because he spilled pretty much a lot of information about us to Athena.
I'm just laughing. I'm not implying anything, I'm just laughing. Okay.
Oh,
I mean,
I realize
So-
it was a self
I
burn.
realize.
there's further evidence that this Luluma
Oh,
is either tempered or something is off about her, in the manner that Cain has had suspicions about her and he's been trying to find evidence that something is wrong. And he finally found it.
Mhm.
And it happened for a fraction of a second. He has a friend who has the ability to peer into people's souls, soul sight or something like that. At one point during a conversation and after the events of the Susano thing, his friend was studying Luluma, and for a fraction of a second saw her soul shift. And it wasn't
Into
what
what?
was shown, but what was hidden underneath. I don't know how that's possible, but it is.
So at the very
was
least,
hidden?
this Lulama is not what she initially appears.
Very much not so.
Obviously.
What exactly is below that is still
We don't
up
know,
in the
but we
air.
believe that she
don't
either
know.
is a construct of Athena or she's tempered by Athena. I'm more leaning towards it's a construct of Athena.
Kill it.
Believe me, I'd love to, but I don't think Ryder would let me.
He's an idiot.
I know.
Get over it.
He is unfortunately very much the person with the mindset of, I can fix her.
Not wrong. Not
You have to bring
wrong.
up that mindset.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah.
Considering after all of the events of Pandemonium and everything in regards to that, up
It's
to and
okay,
including
Mitsu.
pulling
That's-
him and
it's
his
okay, we
friends
don't understand.
into this, don't worry about it, Mitsu.
I'm kind of lost myself.
Don't worry about
it
it.
just sucks because that kind of mindset.
So this
That you can
isn't
fix everyone
directly
doesn't
our
work.
issue.
It doesn't.
No, it never works.
I am a liaison for these individuals, and I help give them advisory information.
Plus, you protect
This
the portal
isn't
here.
necessarily a Twilight. That too. I mean, yes, there's a lot more to it all, but I'm just letting Mitsu know that it's not something they need to be immediately. We don't just kill anything. It's
Damn.
not just a matter of
That's
killing.
the ex-
God, Mitsu, when did you get to that kind of bloodlust?
Mitsu's
my
trying
line.
to show the complete opposite of that mentality.
What a-
of I can fix it.
What in the world have you been teaching Mitsu, Katsuya?
Violence, apparently.
What?
Have you been
Mitsu was like-
listening?
I was listening
Probably
for
not.
most of it, but I just put my music on. like
But yeah,
5 minutes ago.
it's
Mitsu wants to
it's
kill
problematic
Me too.
because now
the person that they're talking
Because
about.
now it's more than likely, it's highly
no
likely she's
violence
going
right
to
now.
be accelerating
Calm
these
down.
tests and sending more and more primals out. Primal constructs, let's put it that way.
Okay, of course, because
Oi.
she's gonna be ramping it up.
Yep.
I never understood scientists.
And this is
Which,
probably one of the
given
worst
the
scientists
fact-
you could run into.
Is it bad? Is it bad that Mobius is better than her?
Who?
Who?
Oh, meat spit is unnecessary.
It's a
Oh, is that what we're doing now?
Don't you speak those words to
There
me.
we go.
No, they line up perfectly. What the fuck?
Am I
Oh,
wrong?
butter such
From
hair.
everything you just heard right now, everything you heard just now, am I wrong?
I hate that I can't argue. I hate it.
So yeah,
Okay, fair enough.
I wanted to
Oh,
bring
yeah,
this
we are-
information to you, and I'm
What about-
certain
what
Saya
about
is going to
those-
do
yeah,
so
that's
as well.
right. I do need to talk to Derek. Fuck.
Who?
Person from the Great Dream.
Ah,
But yeah, I'm certain Saya is going to talk to you about it. I'm sure a couple others are going to talk to you about it. If anything, I highly recommend you reaching out to Frederick and talk to him about things because he has a greater grasp on what's going on. And again, I found out all about this secondhand.
Try my best.
you must love that.
I'm still miffed.
I would be too.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah.
How does your
no,
friend
no.
feel?
She's also irked.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
We have a huge problem that we are all involved in, but let's not tell everyone who's involved.
I literally, as soon as I saw Ryder in
know, right?
Arcala City,
That
I
sounds
went up
like-
to him and slapped the hells out of him. I was that angry at him.
And
What?
an understandable.
If you're
reaction.
involved with something and you need to know, and they might need the help, oh, let's not tell anybody. Let's just go in ourselves. and
Literally.
select a few people.
The
I-
one
I-
time
Or
that he could have used my help for this,
Communication.
not even telling me.
At least backup, maybe. I'd say. Or
And here's the
something to
funny
watch the
thing.
area.
And here's the best part. I can call backup.
Well, your
Oh.
responsibility right
Whatever
now
that
is
is.
to continue your
It's a summoning
teachings.
spell, basically. I can call allies.
You don't need to be
Oh.
going after before I finish teaching you.
Yeah, they apparently fought the Susanoo.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I do believe that your mother would have stern words with me if I just simply allowed you to run off that way. So,
Oh.
Oh, jeez, of course.
Sort of back on the topic, I think we all have experience to agree that communication breakdowns can lead to really fucked situations.
You are not wrong.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
9/10 of every problem has got something to do with
Had 3
miscommunication.
swords?
Yeah,
Why do you have 3 swords?
I heard.
When he wasn't big.
When it was big, it just go boom, 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 boom.
Oh, okay. Oh, sure.
Also, I forgot one other thing. Apparently, the Sasano actually recognized some of the members that were fighting him, like the Construct Sasano. But
Uh-huh.
they were incomplete memories.
Grab the head. Grab
Like
the head.
specifically,
Grab
it
the head.
recognized.
Q.
So
Hold on.
the group of individuals has fought Sasano before, right? Or at least several of them have. It recognized that there were some who were not there but spoke about them. And then in terms of Frederick specifically, Sasano recognized the fighting style that Frederick was using when using a certain weapon, which I'm guessing it was pertaining to someone else who fought Sasano who used a similar fighting style. But like it was broken memories. Kind of like in the same way of like how Luluma is. They're incomplete memories.
So
They
either
are.
Does
that
anyone else see all these math equations floating around?
Believe me, I have the same thing
do.
too, and
I
I
do.
hate it. And I'm a scholar.
so you're making the comparison. So either that Susano is in a similar situation to Luma, or there's some other connection between that Susano and whatever other version existed.
It's more likely that whoever created Sasano is basically has incomplete information. Much in the same way as Luluma
It's
has
probably-
for certain things.
If this person can just take memories from people, then that's probably where they got it.
Well, it doesn't
Like, I'm
even necessarily
overhearing
need to be
people talk
memories.
about
it would, yeah, it would just need to be information that's passed around.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
I guess.
I'm not going
I don't
to.
know.
I'm gonna say this too. Ryder's not the only person who acts like Ryder. There's probably plenty of
that is
people
true,
she was
yeah,
able to
I
sit
know.
down and have a conversation with who just went yep 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 yep
Yep.
yep 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 yep.
Oh, you were friendly for me for like 5 minutes? Here's my
Definitely.
entire life.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe how many people do that.
Welcome to the shared rooms. Would you like to hear my life story? Tell us all this time itself.
I will tell my story sometimes, whenever it is applicable.
That is
So
literally
people
Ryder
don't
to
tell it
any
all the
woman he
time, or
meets.
just,
Oh.
It's
Oh, he's a
frustrating.
simp too?
I wanna know what
Huh?
does that mean?
Wait.
A person who
A simp.
No, no, what did she say? I didn't hear it.
it's a person who it's Ryder.
Oh.
He's right.
Oh.
So I was on
He
point.
does anything and everything for someone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does anything and everything for someone, especially if they're pretty.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. That's him
The
to a
weakness
T.
is pretty women.
That's him to a T.
I'll do anything
Great.
for love.
I hate how
Another word
accurate that
for
is.
it would be a white knight.
Oh,
Nope, not even-
yeah. That White Knight is similar to simp, so I can see where you're comparing it there.
Yeah.
It's typically a situation that only occurs in parasocial situations, but in Ryder's case, he's a very outgoing individual, comes across a lot of people, and
Isn't he married?
God, he's so fucking anime.
Yes. Though technically his wife's dead.
Take offense.
Ah.
Heck. Whoa!
No, yeah.
You
a
have
set of
went through
words I
your
heard.
story arc of learning that going, I want to see the best in everyone is a bad thing.
I still do it.
Yes, but you're at least
But it's
conscious of it.
tempered.
You're at least
What's the best
aware
thing?
that you might trust everyone and want to give them the benefit of the doubt, but you'll still punch them in the foe if they're suspicious.
You know,
Not everyone
Fuck
has
you.
told me to.
Yes.
I've known that from experience.
this
Not
concept
everyone is
of-
worth a damn.
one,
You're
to believe
not
the best in
wrong.
Everyone, that sort of thing, like hoping for the best sort of thing. You could almost consider it the
Yeah,
sort of
that's why they're
toxic
foe, I
version
guess,
of
yes.
hope. Like the concept.
I
of
had
hope.
someone want to kill me just because I look like someone else.
I would go so far as to say a parasitic version, I guess, would be a better way. Because
I'm fine.
because
I want him dead too.
in those situations you're often giving a lot more than you're receiving.
Hmm.
And sometimes, I mean, it's not wrong to want to view the best in people.
It's
Yeah,
not.
that's just
It's
called
just you
being
have to
optimistic.
know when to not pursue that mindset.
I'm gonna give up.
Yeah.
So, let's put it this way, Mitsu. Individuals, especially individuals who are overzealous, will often be so self-sacrificing that they will nearly push themselves to the brink of death for minimal gains.
If not at all.
Yeah.
Hmm. But yeah, that's
And I'm not trying to call you out, I'm just saying that.
that's pretty much all the information I had for you.
I appreciate your perspective, Sarai, and I will look forward to see what Sai and the others might have to provide me. If anything, you are correct in the fact that I do watch over the gateways to Atheris.
Yeah. Well, if you need Aki or myself, we're staying aboard the Azure Wings. It's an airship run by Cora and her closest friends.
I'm aware of the Azure Wings, yes.
Oh, okay. That's where we've been staying since the Reach isn't technically safe to go to anymore, so...
At the moment, yes.
Oh, well, I'll let you know that I have also offered the Twilight Sanctuary as refuge for anyone.
I'll let Aki know. And with that, I think I should take my leave. I need to go and decompress after this. Oy.
Understandable.
Here.
Take care.
Sorry.
They were, yeah, they were just talking about it.
Thank you for everything that you've done.
Because the Reach wasn't safe anymore.
And for
And if there's
everything you've
anything
done
that
too.
I can do to help,
Listen,
Yeah. Yeah.
at least ease your burdens personally, that is. Obviously, I'll be helping in other ways that I can, but
you're cooking.
I know that everything that you personally have been going through with all of this isn't the easiest.
Is it a belt?
1 second, Mitsu.
Yeah, and I still need to go. I'm gonna... If anything, I might go and go back to Atheris at some point. I need to see where she is. See what's going on. Hey. It's been hard. It's still hard.
Oh, right, you're working on that. I forgot about that. Yeah, yes.
I'll say this.
How's that going?
Small scale completed.
While it might not be a solution, if she's willing to come here, I might can at least look into what's going on and see if there's any way we can help.
I'll see what I
It's
can
just
do.
a matter of convincing her to
Leave. Yeah.
come. Yes.
Yeah. I'll think on it, and I'll let you know, at the very least.
The one I'm forgetting the name of now.
Right. I'm gonna
Archangel Kitsune has.
go take care of things. I'll see you around, Q.
Of course.
Take care of yourself.
Yes, then,
This is
Mitsu?
going to be by your
Oh, you have a question for them?
Hmm?
Oh, you're saying bye. I thought you were trying to get their attention. No, they were waving bye.
Oh, okay.
It's gotta be something.
It was good seeing you, Q. Take care of yourself.
I probably won't even tell.
So, I was approached by him for...